Here we go. And then, all right, we are live. Then I'll move our picture too. So, hello, and welcome everybody. Let's let you guys get settled in here. We're excited to have you join us for this episode, this very special episode of Productive Environment Podcast. So get settled in. Let's get you guys on, and we're going to have a really great conversation about ADHD and how to become a very successful business person having ADHD all these years and not knowing it. So we're going to talk to my dear friend Kimberly here in just a minute. So everybody get settled in, and I'm going to, this is a conversation that I've been looking forward to since the moment. Kimberly and I are old friends, really good friends, but we haven't spoken in a while. We see each other on social media and everything. But just like, you guys all have friends that when you run into again and you reconnect, it's like no time has passed.
Yes, for sure.
And that's how Kimberly and I are. So let me remove our images, and that way you guys can just see us. Yeah. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're doing here today. So Kimberly is a successful professional woman with a career spanning higher education and nonprofit work. But I didn't know Kimberly as higher education and nonprofit work. I knew Kimberly as the night nurse, which is a long running. Is it 30 years?
33.
33 years, long running reggae show. Okay.
Yeah.
And you've also managed music events through the years as well. Yeah. So you've done a lot. So she's got the radio voice, y'all. I'm new to this whole podcasting thing over the last couple of years, but Kim was born with it. So I can't wait for you to hear from her. But she's a go-getter. She's always been a go-getter. You are. And Kimberly, I don't know if you knew this, but I heard about the night nurse, the reggae radio show host from my sister, who was 2 years ahead of me at UNC Wilmington when she and I both went to UNCW.
Yeah.
And she had told me about this awesome reggae. She told me about you. She told me about you before I even got to Wilmington.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yep. So I knew of you. And then years later, I ran into you actually down here in Carolina Beach, and we reconnected. I don't even know if I told you that story, but then that's when we became friends. And so I always saw you as very successful, very professional, always doing a lot. Like you were out there, especially in the music scene. You were out there doing your thing. And now we just reconnected recently. You said that at 60, which is hard to believe because you don't look a day over 30.
Thank you.
That at 60 years old that you are starting a new business.
Yeah.
And you received a diagnosis of ADHD. And real quick, let me come back to that in 1 second. Let me do a quick introduction. If this is your first time joining PEPTalk, I'm Andrea Anderson, CEO of Productive Environment Institute. And we do a weekly podcast. So we call it PEPTalk, Productive Environment Podcast. And I live here in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. And my guest today is Kimberly. So before I jump back into your story and the ADHD connection, tell them a little bit about who you are now, just anything you want to share about what you're doing.
Sure. So for years, I have been a professional development specialist and coach in the nonprofit and in higher ed as well. And I have always consulted, but of late, I've kind of put it together with my partner, Jess, as a business, a freestanding business. And it's going to be the chapter of my life that I think I've been waiting for all my life. I've honed a certain set of skills that allows me to help people build themselves into who they want to be. And I believe that's been happening to me the entire time that I've been becoming, and so my becoming has involved a lot of what we're going to talk about today. And one of those elements is this ADHD diagnosis. And I said to you in our conversations off camera,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not new to the experience of ADHD because I've known it most all my life, but I am new to the diagnosis.
Right, right. That's such an interesting thing. I want you to dig into that a little bit. And I know when you told me about the diagnosis, I didn't hear fear or I just got a diagnosis of ADHD. I heard and I saw in your face relief,
Yeah, yeah, I
relief.
can talk about that if you would like.
I would love you to talk about that. Yeah, yeah.
Well, as
So
someone, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. I'm reading my notes. I got my notes here on my
Go
iPad, and
for it.
I
Go
think
for
we're
it.
good. So you talked a little bit about your professional journey, which we'll dig in a little bit more as well. But no, yeah, talk about that. Talk about the relief with the diagnosis. Yeah.
When you have something, whatever it is, and you know it, but and you have all the symptoms, but you don't have the diagnosis, and you're sure. I mean, I even most of my life made it, and for anyone who has this, and I think some people see themselves as suffering with it. I don't
Mhm.
want to be I don't want to be cavalier. So but I would joke about it. If some of these symptoms, like my forgetfulness or my scatteredness, would show up, I would say to folks out loud, I'm sure I have ADHD, or that's my ADHD,
Uh-huh.
right? And so to me, it's been a lighthearted existence because I've still been able to thrive. But I can tell you that of late, I'd say in the past year or so, the symptoms have started to kind of become more visible. And
Really? Can you
yeah,
give us some examples? How is it showing up, or how has
yeah.
it shown up for you?
So as someone who has it, you do have to work 2 and 3 times harder to stay on top.
Mm.
But what I have discovered is that, and that's through after having the diagnosis, what I've discovered is there are kind of two, or at least the two that I've gone down the rabbit hole about, which is a um, a bit of importance. What do we call that? We call that importance mindset, or importance um, nervous system prioritization, or passion. And I'm a passion driven person. So, what I've learned about being passion driven and versus the importance driven nervous system is
Mm.
that the importance driven nervous system is about the deadlines. It's about serving the needs. It's about making sure that you hit the mark, not just for yourself, but for things outside of that. But if you have this wiring that is more personalized and it's more passion driven and authenticity driven, then your interest really drives your ability to plug in and upstart and complete. And so, with that being said, yeah, my passions have always driven me. But because of structural changes in work environments and certain environments where contract work is required, and those situations changing to more stringent and confining
Mhm.
expectations without the autonomy, that creates a bit of a shock and dysregulation. And so the dysregulation turned into curiosity. And so my curiosity led me to do real research instead of assuming and kind of knowing that I.
Oh,
So I
that's
was motivated to get the real answer. Yeah.
so that's what, yeah, that was my next question is why now?
Yeah.
Why after all these years, like, did you intentionally go to the doctor to get a real diet? So
I
that's kind
did.
of what you did.
I
Yeah.
did. And I did some research and consulted some folks that I trust on where to go. And for folks in
Mm.
this area, at least, and even online, if you don't live in Wilmington, there are tons of resources as to how you can get this diagnosis. We have several agencies and entities in our town where you can get these diagnoses. And it's interesting, the line of questioning. I think there are a couple of ways that it's done, but the way that it was done for me, even in the midst of the assessment, it just became more and more evident to me that
Oh,
I am one of those people. And I could give you a really quick example
sure.
of, of what I experienced. It's a line of questioning is huge, and it feels endless when you're in it, but also purposeful. So there were no silly questions. But one of the questions, I had been in the assessment with this assessor for about 20 minutes,
Mm.
20, probably right at 20 minutes. And one of the things he asked me to do was to close my eyes and to tell him what there is. I remember from his office, what's on the walls, what's
Mm.
what the furniture looks like, and all of those things, right?
Mhm.
And wow, yeah, that
You
was a
couldn't?
I no, I could not. I could not. And but what that revealed to me was that in real time, it shows up in real time. And so you talked earlier about, and I know you're going to get into this, but you talked to me kind of off camera about my successes. It
Yeah.
goes back to interest and passion and autonomy to pursue the things that I love. And I've had that privilege. I really have had the privilege of doing work that I love. I love being the night nurse, which is part of why I am broadcasting this on my Reggae Redemption Facebook page, because I want people to know beyond that radio voice, there's a human being and that I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a question for those of you watching, those of you that know Kimberly, or other people in a similar situation. I mean, I wonder, because what we saw on the outside, or what we see on the outside, is success, a go-getter, a driver, like, let's get it done. You're out there. But I also know about you that you show up as an extrovert,
Oh my goodness, yes.
but you are really your natural is an
Um,
introvert. Is that right? Would you
I'm
agree with
a
that?
painfully, I am the quintessential introvert. I honestly
Yeah.
am. And I've been told that I'm an ambivert. So my
Yeah.
preference is introversion. I am off to myself. And some of that's because I'm an only child. And I've always kind of had space and been able to self-engage and self-soothe and,
Yeah.
be with myself. And that's learned behavior. So I'm good with me. Loneliness is something that I don't really grapple with at all. Even when I wasn't partnered, I always felt, like I was with somebody worth being with. And that sounds
Yeah.
arrogant to some people, but not really when you're an only child. So
I like
so
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So true to let me give you a good example of ADHD. Get me
Okay.
back on track. True to what I have. Tell me where we were going with this. What
Oh
was
gosh. Just how it how it shows up for you, and I had said that you were an extrovert. You show up as an
yes.
extrovert, but you are very introverted. Because I
I
would
feel
see you
alive. Yeah.
at these events, like and I think you and Barbara, we talked about this too. Barbara Hemphill,
Yeah.
founder of Productive Environment Institute.
Yeah.
I think you two share this in that she can be on a stage
Yeah.
and she can speak to thousands of people
Oh yeah.
confidently
Oh yeah.
and just beautifully, and people are like engaged with what she's saying. But put her in a networking
Yeah.
one-on-one, walking around meeting people situation, she would just rather crawl under a rock than do
I
that. Now
see.
she still does it, but I've seen
She can do
you.
it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's hard, but you
It
pushed
is.
yourself through it to do so. I
It
think that's
is.
certainly something that you share. So let
Oh,
me share.
absolutely.
Oh, look, we got a comment here. Let's see. I don't know if I should put this on screen without reading it first. It's from Demetrius. Most people duck getting a diagnosis. So proud of her for facing it head on and moving forward full
Thank you,
throttle. That's
Demetrius.
right.
Full throttle. That's
Full
my nickname
throttle.
that Demetrius gave me years ago. We will not discuss why
No,
I am full throttle.
why you
Right.
are full throttle. I think it goes back to that nickname, goes back to who you are. Like, you give everything you've got. Like, you do everything, you give everything you've got. And you're now saying, that's why I think that's why you have the relief of the diagnosis. It's like,
It
it
is.
has been harder for you, but you
To
still
push through.
did it. You still
Oh,
pushed forward. So, let me mention something here. I have some, now these you and I did not talk about off camera. So
okay,
this
here we
will
go.
be new. This will be some
Okay.
new content for us to discuss. And I'm really curious. So this podcast, Productive Environment Podcast, we're at Productive Environment Institute. We are about helping people organize their
Yeah.
time, their space, and their information so they can accomplish their work and enjoy their lives. Okay, so we have a lot of people that we work with that do have ADHD, and they have blamed themselves for years. Like, I
Oh, yeah.
just can't get organized. Something's wrong with me. I don't know. They've got paper clutter, they've got email, digital clutter, they've got all kinds of things, but they're working through our system and getting results. Now, I did tell you that Barbara actually created our system
I'm so
based
excited
on
about it.
her own
Yes,
ADHD, right?
yes,
And
yes,
you had mentioned this, that you get creative and
yes,
you have to come up with coping mechanisms for yourself to get things done,
yes,
right?
yes.
Because it doesn't come naturally.
It does not come naturally. There is this, and I don't know if people have enough time to read about this amazing and organic hack that I've discovered, and it is called body doubling. Have you ever heard?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Unbelievable. And before I knew what it was, I was doing it with my partner, with Jess. You kind of plug into other people's ability to start and finish. And if they're in the same space that you're in. So a lot of the work that I have done on Courage to Become, which is my business, has been in times when he is around, when he's home, and so playing off of his ability to start and finish started to be a thing. And we were
Hmm.
just curious. And so I did some research and found out this is actually a thing. So a lot
Okay.
of people with ADHD can thrive in the midst of other folks who are being productive. It's that self-start piece that to be that
Yeah.
self-starter is really hard. I have always been one though, but did not realize that I have always pretty much surrounded myself with go-getters and with people who
Mhm.
are what I am not. And so in terms of my ability to thrive at this stage of life, not just rooted in the body doubling, but also rooted in the recognition that this is real and that all of the methods that I've been using have been useful, but that there is an intentionality now that I did not have before the diagnosis in terms of finding them, uprooting, one, finding the methods, combing through them, and finding out what works for me. One of the things that did not work for me that we tried, because he is very, very organized, is okay, there's this app that can organize you. You can put your things in. First of all, as someone with ADHD, you have to be motivated to even pick that thing up or to click on that app and
Yes.
do those things. So
Yeah.
really doing this work outside, doing this work of my own, starting Courage to Become, which is a professional development and coaching
Mhm.
business that I've started, is driving every single bit of my focus, driving every bit of my passion, driving every bit of my drive, because it's work that I care about. It's work that is important to me. And so in places where you're not in charge of your work, negotiating flexibility in terms of deliverables, when and how they're delivered in workplaces.
Mm.
Oftentimes the methodology, how things are delivered is focused on more than did the deliverable come on time and is it what was asked for. And so negotiating those kinds of things in the workplace are ways that I have done that in the past, but on my own and as a consultant now, I get to kind of choose those methods. I'll tell you another one. This method of, and I know it has a proper name, but I don't necessarily use it the way that it's supposed to. I
Okay.
don't use it officially, but working in 15 and 20-minute intervals, because I need the break and I make myself stop.
Mhm.
And I take those breaks to get some water, to walk around, to
Yes.
do the things that I know will restart or reboot my brain, because it needs it, and I'm giving it what it needs. You give your body what it needs in terms of nourishment. So when
That's
you
right.
realize you have something like this going on in your brain that you're born with and you don't really have a lot of control over, you can mitigate how it
Yeah.
shows up.
It's fascinating that you came upon those things kind of naturally.
Yeah.
The body doubling and the time, because that's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we teach in Productive Environment Institute. And we have a program called Soar to Success, and
Yes.
SOAR means systemize and organize with
Yes.
action and reference. So
Oh,
Barbara had designed years ago, when she had organized thousands of people's offices, many of whom had ADD and ADHD. that she simplified it down. She simplified it down to two things, like really three if you count tossing something. So action, every piece of information, whether it's paper, email, or something in your computer, every piece of information in your life is either an action, is something you need to do, or it's a reference, something you want to keep for future reference.
Yes.
Or it's a toss. You can just get
Okay.
rid of it. And Barbara's famous quote is, clutter is postponed decisions. So when people end up with tons of clutter,
Which I have had all my
that's
life.
right. So, and it's really, it's postponed decisions. And in your brain, it's hard to stop and make those decisions, right? So in our program, it's so funny. We specifically meet in our group, our members meet every Tuesday and every Friday for body doubling. We meet, we meet as a group, and I'd love to invite you in. We
Yes.
meet as a group every Tuesday and every Friday, and a lot of people, when they sign up for coaching programs, I know you have a program coming out, that they're like, oh, that's, meeting twice a week, that's too much. I don't have time for that. Well, our meetings, we have a short period of time that's Q&A, answering questions, or teaching something new. But the majority of that time block, it's 90 minutes each day, Tuesday and Friday. The majority of that time is the doing. So we all go on mute on Zoom, and everybody works on their own filing. Yeah, they're filing, they're processing their email, they're doing the work that we all, it's like, and then the other piece, we use the timer. We're really big on the timer. You mentioned 20, 25 minutes. Well, a 25-minute time block, there's a technique called the Pomodoro technique.
That's it. Yes.
That's it. Yep. You work for 25, you focus on one thing for 25 minutes, the timer goes off, and you take a 5-minute break. You get up, you walk outside, you pet your dog, you drink some water.
I have to have it. I have to have it. It's interesting.
It's so funny that those are things we do. Let me share Maureen's comment here. She's in our SOAR program, actually. She said, I think so many people have undiagnosed ADHD, me included, especially in this day and age when our brains are bombarded with so many sound bites a day. So true. We have to process things in 7 seconds or less. So true, Maureen. Yeah. And it's coming at us from every different direction.
And to Andrea, the other thing that I'll say is, when you're a young person, a kid, I remember always being one of the smart kids. And I think I kind of was able to hide behind some of that because I was smart. As work got more rigorous, I remember being in middle school, and the last year of middle school, I was invited to go to what was a big deal back then. Now it's kind of run of the mill, but it was a magnet high school. And had always been a huge achiever, overachiever, then went to this high school where everybody was smart. And the challenge of those adjustments and those coping mechanisms that I did not have, and those, that I remember that as a marker. And then in later years in the workplace, having any kind of shift that disallowed a lack of structure, because everyone doesn't thrive well in tight structure.
Right.
And I find that my brain does not function well in tight structure, with freedom to move and to do it the way that I need to do it, not the way I want to do it. It doesn't have to be my way or the highway, but the way that this brain needs to do it.
Yeah.
I think workplaces take that stuff more seriously is a vital conversation as well. Maybe it's another one for another time.
We do a part 2. We need to do a part 2. For sure. So let me ask you this. How have you said, when I mentioned the paper clutter, and you said, oh, I've had that. So how has that appeared for you? Paper clutter, email, do you struggle with email overload like many, many, many people?
I have emails in archives that I have not purged since 2008. But with that said, I function. I don't revisit it. It's just kind of there. You know what I mean? But with the diagnosis, have been purging not only emails, but clothes and you just things that you think you need. And You don't need them.
Yeah.
I've created things from the ground up. I created my radio show from the ground up. I created a career in concert promotions. I have been this, awarded professional development person for many, many years without the clutter in the way. The clutter is peripheral, but somehow knowing that it's there became a thing for me. But purging, oh my goodness, there's nothing like getting rid of that stuff and making room for nothing. You don't have to put something else there.
Oh, I love that.
Making
Making room for nothing. I love that.
And it's okay,
It's okay
nothing
to
else
not have to feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's freedom in this diagnosis for me. I'm so excited. And actually the assessor told me, I'm really excited for you. And I'm not just saying that. I see you as someone who is going to be able to thrive well beyond what you already have with this in place, because you have the knowledge and you have the passion to want to address it in a more intentional way.
Oh, I love it. Intentional. That's a big buzzword for us too. In PEI, being intentional. So, so let me clarify. Let me get this straight. With Barbara's quote, clutter is postponed decisions.
Yes.
So we postpone decisions about the piles of paper and the email and all that stuff. So it was after you got your diagnosis that you started purging. Is that right?
Actually, it was before. It was before, because my body double is this person, and just body doubling and being around that more. And so having the advantage of that in my space and in my face.
So Jess is a good influence on you.
He's a great influence. Absolutely. And
that is awesome.
I wouldn't take anything for it, because it definitely has been a positive influence. I think we get mislabeled all the time as lazy, as, lack of motivation and all of that, when really the mirroring that you can benefit from in this body doubling piece is proof that there just needs to be something in place to show your brain that it can do, without you having to be the only spark that lights the flame, if that makes sense. It's organic. It's such an organic experience.
I think it gives hope. It gives people hope. So
it should. It really should.
So
you get to hone your own skill and break away from needing the body double piece as well. There are tons of resources about body doubling, but I've also read that that's not always a must, and it doesn't have to stay in place forever.
It doesn't have to stay there, right? It can be a catalyst to get you started, and but considering
what I've done without it, all my life.
I know. I mean, you can clearly get things done. I mean, and people might look from the outside and go on, how does she do all this? And everything's just all over the place. But you don't appear that way. You didn't appear that way in public, for sure.
What they don't see is the exhaustion.
The exhaustion.
Because you get it done. You get it done when you have ADHD. But the exhaustion after you've made it, you've built it, and they come and it's wonderful. But the exhaustion, you should be able to do that. And I am getting always closer. It's one of those things where you're born with it, so you're going to die with it. So it's constantly a work in progress,
Certainly. Well, I'm going to share this with you and Jess, actually, both. I created at PEI, we created a tool. Because you're right. You said earlier, there's so many. Oh, there's an app for that. Like, there are so many tools out there. There's task management system tools. There's everything under the sun tools. One of the main things that Barbara created almost 50 years ago is what we call our productive environment finding system. So a lot of people, whether you have ADHD or not, you've got paper, we still have a lot of physical paper. And you file it the traditional filing way, but you can't find it. You can never find what you need when you need it. Can you relate to that at all, Kim?
I can some, but believe it or not, in the chaos, I'm able to pick. When people clean up, that's when I lose stuff. So,
oh God!
but I'm better now. Yeah.
So we there's a methodology around how to be able to find things in your own physical filing cabinet as quickly and easily as you can find things on Google. Like you just go on Google and you do a quick search and there it is, right?
Yes.
You can now, we have a system where you can actually do the same thing in your own physical filing cabinet, where you can just type in a keyword and it tells you what filing cabinet it's in, what folder it's in. So you're not making a bunch of extra folder. Anyway, it's a whole thing. And we created a tool that helps you manage all of it. So the first part we call a capture quest, which other people might call a brain dump, getting everything out of your head. And so I'm sure you've used that strategy.
Oh, yes.
Right?
I have to.
Yeah. When things get
putting it on paper, putting it in front of me. Yes.
Right in front of you. Exactly. So we have a component for that. And then we have an action section for everything that you're supposed to do or all the things you need to do. And then we have a reference section for things you want to keep. And that includes the finding system. So we created a one-stop shop tool that can help kind of get your ADHD brain and people without ADHD too, but one place. Now, it doesn't mean everything lives in there. You can still have Google Drive and you can have other tools and other apps, but you access them from there. It's like it's like a digital dashboard. So I'd love to get your and Jess's opinion on it. So try it.
We're ready. We are so ready for it. And I'll share it too, because I know other people who could benefit.
Yeah.
From it.
I mean,
I don't know the statistics, but I know that a lot of people exist and live and even thrive with this condition, with this.
Absolutely. And it doesn't even have to be that tool. I mean, the other thing I have taught for years without an app or anything is just getting a notebook and having a notebook sitting beside you.
Yeah.
You know, just to capture those thoughts, capture those things. But then that can get, messy, and then you pull out the pages and all that. So, but it's a start. It's a start.
It is. So. I read recently that one of the ADHD isms is having several, and I actually do, several lovely notebooks, right?
Of course you do. Yeah. And I would, and I totally recommend against that. And I get it. It's an ism. It's because it's ADHD ism because you see it. I'm attracted to those things when I go to a store and I'm like, I need this
shiny.
One. Bright, shiny object. But I learned myself that I had to have one notebook.
I have now, right?
Do you? Okay.
Have many. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a tip. So you don't have to have a special app or anything. Start with one thing that captures everything. And I don't really pull things out either. I'll take notes. I'll put the date and the topic. And if I'm on a webinar or something, I'll take my notes there, flip the page, and I'll be on a phone call and taking notes on the phone call, flip the page, write down my grocery list for the day, flip the page. And it's just the stream of consciousness of my life in a notebook. But then here's the then.
Okay.
Then you can't end there. You've got to go back now, and I will, using my sourboard on the computer, I will go back to the notebook and I will pull, this is something I said I would do.
Yes.
This is something somebody asked me for. This is something, and I will plug that into my action system. So that was a missing piece. That was a big missing piece for a long time.
It's accountability, actually.
Yeah, it is. Accountability and consistency. So what is next for you, my friend? You've got some kind of big event coming up here locally. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So Wilma Magazine, which is a professional woman-centered publication here in Wilmington. They've been good to me over the years, and all of the things that I've done, they've featured many times. And in the summer issue, which dropped in May on the 10th, I think, I am a featured writer, and I wrote an article about choosing yourself and about creating a regimen that I wake up every morning with. And you can find it on shelves. It's free in our area, and I think outside the area, but Wilma Magazine, folks should look it up. And it's the May issue 2026. But just creating a regimen that helps me start my day. And that was the first engagement in 2026 that I've had with Wilma Magazine. But on July 30th, the leadership, Leadership Acceleration Conference is happening at the at the Wilmington Convention Center here in Wilmington. And women who are in business, women who are professional are gathering as they do annually for this amazing event. My session will run 10:45 until 11:45, and it is entitled The Hive Effect, a vocal visibility experience. And vocal visibility is my session on helping people find out how they develop the relationship they have with their voice. And I don't mean how it sounds. Yes, how it sounds too, but how you use it, if you use it. And I find that and as a professional development person in workplaces, whether they're corporations, whether they're institutions of higher learning or nonprofit, there are tons of folks who may even be at the top of the food chain and don't necessarily know how to use their voices effectively to be taken the way that they want to be taken seriously. Whether you're an employee or a leader, you can benefit from this session. And the Wilma event is going to be one where several other presenters are talking on really awesome topics that will help women in the professional setting become and grow and develop in the ways that they want to. But vocal visibility is a favorite piece of mine. And I love showing people where they can take their voices. I've always had one. It's always been encouraged in my family of origin. And then again, through the work that I've chosen to do or the work that chose me. I've always had a voice that I was able to use and feel good and confident in it. And so teaching other women in the professional arena to do that on July 30th at the Convention Center through Wilma Magazine and their Leadership Acceleration Program, which you can find online. Just click on Wilma Magazine and it's going to take you. There's a fee to attend, but it's worth every moment. And I hope to see some folks there.
That's awesome. That's exciting. Yeah. Wilma, guys. So
Wilma Magazine.
Wilma as in Fred and Wilma Flintstone.
Yeah, as in Fred and Wilma. Yes.
Wilma, Wilmington, women.
Yeah. There you go. I love all that. That's added points of reference, but we're going to have a great time that day, empowering and encouraging women in business and the professional arena to do what they want to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a snapshot of what you will be teaching in your business and Courage to Become. And I love the concept of the visibility voice. How are you saying it?
Vocal visibility. Demetrius's comment really resonates, I'll say, because he said he's proud of me for going after this diagnosis. Oh my goodness. I don't see it as courageous, but I think some other folks might. I am just an open book, right? And I think that when you have a platform, which I've had for 33 years, I've been a public person, like you said, you have a different level of responsibility to really show up. And I've always tried to be, it's innate anyway, so I'm not even really trying to be authentic and to show up as myself. I know that the work looks shiny and I might even seem shiny as I show up in it. But I am as capable of being all over the place as anyone else. And it's important for me to show people the whole package and what's underneath it all. So this kind of platform right here that you've afforded me today is unbelievable. And I appreciate you letting me do it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being here. We'll definitely have you back. Ed, so if you'll put up, I want to share a little bit about our workshop. We've got a workshop on demand, so you don't have to wait. You can go to workshop.productiveenvironment.com and you can sign where everything I just talked about with Barbara's methodology and gathering all of the paper and the emails and all the stuff that just drives you crazy, gathering it all together and you taking control of it instead of it controlling you. That's what I teach. That's what we teach in the workshop. And you also get the technology tool that we created called the SOAR board. That is part of the workshop. So definitely check that out. And we will put in the description box, Kimberly, if you want to send me anything else. I think we already have your website and other things. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Ed. Courage2Become Consulting.com. They can find you there.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, that's great. And I saw you've got some videos on there. So
I do. It talks about what we do and how we walk into the agencies and the entities that we work with through a positive lens of appreciative inquiry. We start with what's working. A lot of consultants go in and go, well, what's wrong? Well, we want to start with what's working so we can build on that.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. All right, guys. Yes, 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 yes. So, guys, share this video, like this video. If you're watching us on
Please.
YouTube, definitely like it, or you might be on Facebook or LinkedIn. Like it and share it. Share it with somebody that you know that is struggling, that could be ADHD, or they know they are. Because I think, Kim, you shared some really great concepts or things that people can try, and your experience, you always inspire people with your experience. So I think this is a new one that is now official.
It
Right?
is. It is official. It is, and like I said, the diagnosis is new, but I'm excited about it, and I'm not at all thwarted. I'm gonna thrive through it as I always have, but just with a little bit more intention.
You're gonna thrive through it with intention, full throttle.
Full
Demetrius named you Full Throttle for a reason.
with purpose, for sure.
That's
You
right.
guys are the best.
Oh, that's right. Well, we love you. We love you
Love you
pieces.
back.
We're glad that you were here. And I definitely want to do a part 2. There's going to be more follow up with this
Awesome. I can't
as
wait
you're
for it.
launching your business and everything. So, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm going to end the live stream now, and we will be back on next Tuesday. We meet every Tuesday, mostly live. Every now and then there's a restream, but mostly live on Tuesdays at noon. So we hope you guys will join us again. And thank you so much. So hang on just a second,
Thank you.
Kim, while I end this, and we'll wrap up.